Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 55 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. In this week's chapter, we're going to continue working on my bathroom vanity drawers and doors, and we're going to make a real mess in the shop today. So hang in there, I think you'll find this interesting. Well, as I stated in the intro, we're going to add more mess to my already messy shop. It's just a disaster in here. Haven't got around to cleaning things up yet, which I really need to do. But I've been working hard on my drawers and drawer faces and doors. Boy, I can't even talk today. This week, also this week, I've been working on content for my Teacher Pay Teacher site. So if you're a shop teacher and you're looking for safety content for your industrial arts groups, I'd encourage you to go there. This would work for vocational ed, for whatever you're doing. If you feel that you don't have a system to teach safety, check out my Teacher Pay Teacher page. Okay, so anyway, a little bit of a plug there. Yeah, I'm working on drawer faces and doors again. And you saw in an earlier video that I made the handles. Okay, and I haven't sanded them all yet. I have them all cut, so all 5 of them are cut. Didn't use very much ebony, so I don't feel bad about using a wood like that in such a limited quantity. But with the bathroom vanity, the casework itself, I showed you how I grain filled that. I was going to show you a little bit more of that today because I've done things a slight bit different, and I just want to make sure that if you're doing this, and I looked a little bit on the internet today, and I'm not a great searcher, I guess, but I haven't found a lot of grain filler or grain filling content that is similar to what I'm doing. So maybe with that in mind, it's important to explain what I'm using and where I've been getting my supplies. So I have been using this powdered grain filler from Lee Valley. I hope I've got that the right distance from the camera. Like I said last video about Lee Valley, I've always appreciated their stuff and they've always been good to me. So I don't mind saying that I'm using their product. When you're using a grain filler like this grain filler, to me, it almost looks more like drywall filler. Like it's just a white water-based paste and you spread it on. There are very, very limited instructions on the back, and the mixing, they recommend 3 parts powder to 1 part water, and then it says adjust thickness with equal amount of water added. Okay, to be honest, I just got it the consistency I wanted, and that's all I did. Now this little bag, this bag is 150 grams, and to know how far it got me, I did the exterior of the casework, so the stiles and rails, or pseudo stiles and rails in front of the casework, and the one side that was all oak plywood. That got done, plus I had enough to do the faces and edges of the drawers and doors. I didn't see any value in doing the back of it. You know, you don't see it, you don't feel it really. Why would I bother? So what I did is I mixed it up, and I'm just going to step out here for a second. I just was very fussy, if that's a word, about doing this. I put it in this thing, I stirred it up, and I thought, oh, that's never going to be enough. And I think had I put it on the way I put it on the casework, it probably would not have been. But I made one change. After doing the casework, I realized I probably had it on too thick. So instead of using a plastic trowel to put it on, I used my 6-inch drywall knife. And I tried to put, like, pressure like that on and drag it all the way along. And I've noticed on some videos that I have watched, when they're putting grain filler on, they're putting it on across the grain. I'm not sure if that's a good way to do it. If they're having success with it, great. My thinking was this, and since I'm going to have to live with this, I kind of did it my way. If I'm going along this way, I'm rubbing the trowel on the raised part of the grain, and the filler should be deposited in the low parts. That was my rationale. Now, having said that, if I was doing something more like, say, guitar work or something like that, I think I'd give it at least 2 coats. Because, well, I'll show you one. I have one sanded up here already, and I'll show you what it looks like. But to me, I didn't want to do as much sanding this time as I did on the casework. And I don't know. I just went on one way like this, try to get it as even as I could. The edges, like the scallops here, I just put in fact, I didn't even put a glove on. I just put it on my thumb and wiped it in. So that's all I did to it. So that's probably the change from the first time. Instead of putting it on with a plastic trowel, and the plastic trowel might be better, if you're not really kind of handy with one of these, there's a chance you could grab an edge and make a mark on your wood or whatever. That'd be bad. And I did think of that, but I've used one of these a lot, so I didn't worry about it. But anyway, I went like that, spread it all on, did the edges, and I did the edges too, especially on the cross where the end grain's exposed. I did that. So that's what it looks like. So once it dried, I did this yesterday, and I debated whether I should show you filling one door, but that's probably about as exciting as watching paint dry. So I thought I'd show you just a wee little bit of sanding here. I'm using a rubber sanding block, and I have an auto body block somewhere, and that's why I really need to clean up, because I can't find anything anymore. Somewhere in this mess is a high quality automotive block, and I prefer to use that, but I don't. So this is a nice hard surface, and that's what you need. So I sanded this by hand, and I always went with the grain. And again, when you do that, the high parts of the oak tend to get shiny relatively quickly. Don't know if you can see that. See here, this high part? It tends to shine up a bit, and the filler stays in the low part, which is what you want. You want the low parts to fill. So I'm not going to sand this whole door, but this goes relatively quickly. Like, I don't think I've sanded a minute yet, and I'm half done. But I think that's enough for you to see. Okay, the only thing that is a little bit of a challenge is the end grain ends. Because to get in there and sand, by the way, I always fold my sandpaper into 3, and I taught all the kids that I worked with for 30 years to do that too. So just to sand like this would take you forever to get this buildup off. So I'm working left-handed here for the camera. So I basically get the bulk of the filler off and I finish going like this. So I'm always sanding with the grain, or at least trying to. Now I'm using 180 grit sandpaper. I don't know. I maybe 220 would have been a bit better. I read somewhere in an article, and I think it was in one of Michael Dresner's books or an article, or somebody way back when basically was saying that for most projects, probably 180 was enough. Um, After 30 years in the school situation and working with kids' projects, I would tend to agree with that. There were projects we sanded much more than that, and they were things like guitars and items, like, for example, some turnings where you're going to be holding them close to eyesight and you might see a scratch or whatever. So for some furniture projects and things like that, we always sand it to 180. So I'll sand this. Oh, I got to do the drawer faces yet too. They look terrible, but they're really not all that bad. In here, I just do the same thing. I go like this, and then I curl the paper, and I go around. And actually, that turned out to be easier than I thought it would be. So that's the sanding. I'm not going to bore you with that, but I am going to show you one that's ready for spraying. Now, I didn't do the back at all, but I have the holes drilled for the hinges and all that stuff. But you can see how the high spots are nice and almost kind of polished, but the filler stayed in the low spots. Now, if I had one criticism of this, I would say maybe a second coat would have been warranted. Now that I look at it, I see where maybe, but it feels good. So this stuff is a little bit deceptive to work with too, because it looks white in the grain now, but when I spray it, that white will disappear. So I'll wait, I'll reserve judgment until I've got 3 coats of finish on it. And away we go. Now my plan is, and maybe I'd like to spray one on this video yet, but I'd like to spray these first. I don't want to spray this area with the handle in, because I think that's going to be really difficult to spray nicely in there. And since you're going to feel that, I want it nice. So my goal is to spray these and then finish sanding the handles. While I'm waiting for finish to dry, I'll start sanding the handles properly and getting them ready to go in. And then when these are done, then hopefully those are ready to be sprayed, and I'll spray them. And then I'll push them together, glue them together, and install the drawers and drawer faces. Sorry, the drawer faces and doors. And then that bathroom vanity is pretty much done. So I will we'll see how it works, but my goal is to show you a little bit of spraying at this video as well. So hang in there. Okay, well, I had sprayed the back of these already and let them kind of dry. And then I was just gonna start the camera and shoot this video. And then I had 2 former students stop in. It's right around 3 o'clock. It's coffee time, so we sat down, had a Coke together. I really enjoy that when former students come and want to stop in and catch up. And so thanks, Kasten and Drayden, for stopping in. It was a lot of fun. So anyway, back to what I'm doing. What I was going to show you is that whiteness of the filler in the grain just really doesn't go away. Like, these are sanded thoroughly to 180 grit paper, and you can see the white in the grain. Now, when I look at these, especially through the back of my phone here, I think that another coat would have been in order to get these things truly flat. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to spray them, and we're going to get it done. why I wanted to shoot this little segment for you is to show you that that whiteness, that's going to disappear when I spray them. It's amazing. To me, it's almost like magic. It just kind of goes away. So, but one thing that I think it does is it changes the color of the oak a little bit. This is red oak, and red oak can get very red. This, after I've sprayed it, well, I'll bring you back after we spray them. It's not terribly red, so I like that. It makes the oak a nice color. So anyway, I'll just move you slowly. I've got the overhead door to the spray booth open today, so it's a beautiful day out there, nice hot summer day, and now I can spray without getting my shop full of overspray. So we're going to turn this off and we're going to do some spraying. Okay, well, I'm back in the shop. It's in the evening now. Close the overhead door so that we wouldn't have all manner of insects in here landing on my freshly finished doors here. Thought I'd bring you back after I had both of the doors sprayed. I think maybe I mentioned I'd spray one and bring you back, but that just wasn't possible. So I sprayed both of them, and you'll notice all that white that was on the board before is gone. The finish must penetrate it, and it turns it transparent, and it is gone. They look, in my view, they look beautiful. To me, the camera isn't doing this justice. But I was looking at this when I was preparing to shoot this, and to me, I made a statement in the earlier part of this that it kind of toned down the redness of the oak. Well, what I did is I took a piece of scrap oak, well, an offcut, probably from these doors, and just put water on it. And putting water on a piece of wood is a pretty good indicator of what it will look like with finish on it. So I would think more like an oil-based finish, or water-based tends to maybe make things a little bit toned down. But anyway, I don't know if, maybe when I look through the camera, the water piece, this one here, is a little redder than the two pieces that I just sprayed. So the filler, I think, just does change the tone a little bit. It's not much when you look at it from my point of view here. However, what I'm noticing more than that is when you look at this piece here, there's a lot more contrast between the light and the dark. Whereas when I go to my piece or my doors that have been filled, I don't notice it as much. The tone is more even in the color. So I'm very happy with this. I think these are going to look absolutely stunning with the black ebony handles put in where those little inserts are there. I think it's going to be amazing. So maybe if you're an expert in finishing and have worked a lot with filler, boy, I wouldn't mind some comments from you. But I'm very happy with this. This is one coat sprayed. I'm going to let them dry overnight. I'll spray second coat tomorrow. I'm not sure about third coat if I need it. These feel really nice and smooth already, so they may just get two coats. But yeah, so I just thought I'd show you that because, like, I'm super happy, and I'm very happy with my drawer pull design as well. I think it's going to look really nice. So we're gonna close this in a second or two. I'll bring you back for that, and we'll wrap this up. Well, that brings my little finishing video to a close. If you have expertise in grain filling or using sealers or things of that effect, please, I'd sure like to dialogue with you in the comments, or we could exchange information. I think I'm on the right track. If I would have given these doors another coat of grain filler, I think they would be flat. Now by flat, I don't mean flat as far as sheen goes, flat as far as level goes. The surface needs to be perfectly level. So yeah, if you have expertise in that area, please contact me through the comments. That'd be wonderful. As you can see over here, I'm starting to work on the drawer that goes in where the plumbing is, where the sink is. I've got to cut out a section here so it slides in and out and misses the sink. My wife wants to maximize storage in that cabinet, and that's one way of doing it. So I basically had this cut when I built drawers because I knew it was coming. I knew what size it needed to be. The only thing I didn't know was the cutout. So once I get the finish done here, then I'm going to finish this, spray it, and hopefully in the very near future, excuse me, my vanity building videos will end because I am getting close. With that in mind, first of all, just a couple things before I sign off today. It was great to have former students drop in the shop today. I told them coffee time's 3 o'clock, and if you want to stop in, you are certainly welcome. There's always cola in the fridge. So I appreciate, one of the things I really valued about my teaching career is I got to meet a lot of really, really cool people, and 99.9% of them were students. So you're welcome anytime. Other than that, be great if this channel would grow a little faster. So if you're already subscribed, that you have friends, tell them about it, get them to subscribe. That'd be wonderful. Been at it about just a little over 6 months now, and we're at 140 or so. I'm not sure, I haven't checked the last few days. But it'd be nice to be growing a little faster than that. So please try to get my name out there. I'd really appreciate it. That'd be wonderful. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of work to make these videos. They are a lot of fun. The content, yeah, maybe if I'd have started like a guitar building or a turning channel, that would be doing a little better by now. But I've been all over the place, and that I'm sure doesn't help. But I also noticed that those channels that started out as one thing have branched off into all kinds of other things. So I don't know. I think I just like to show you what I'm up to. That's the whole idea. We're going to be finishing putting shingles on and soffit on my my grandkids' clubhouse out there. We're going to get that going. I am maybe going to pour some cement out there, so there'll be some outdoor content coming up. But yeah, please like, subscribe, tell your friends, share. Also, if you're a teacher, all my safety stuff will be on Teacher Pay Teacher probably in the next 2-3 weeks. So there again, you can get some resources for a very reasonable price. So anyway, today's Thursday. This will go up probably tomorrow. There'll be something else by the end of Sunday for sure. So hang in there, and we'll see you on the next video.